What's up, everybody? Welcome to another video. Hope you're having a great day. Another weekend of Premier League football has come and gone, and obviously I've already done a video which was basically reviewing all the other football games. This one is solely for the Man United versus Arsenal game. Great game of football over the weekend. I'm just going to be reviewing that one here, and just talk about the few talking points from that game. Before I go into the video, please guys subscribe to the channel. I appreciate the support that you give, and also please push that like button to like the video, and push that notification bell so that you can get notified each time I post a new video. And yeah, man, like if we go straight into it, obviously Man United playing against Arsenal. I said this is a big game for both sides because it will give us a good indication of where both sides are. Are Arsenal flat track bullies who just win against the smaller teams and lose against the bigger teams? Because they won 5 of their opening 5 games. They won against Fulham, Crystal Palace, Bournemouth. What else did they play? I forgot. Okay, I just forgot now, guys, man. But basically, they won all Villa. Yeah, Villa was the other team. Aston Villa, who are in pretty bad form. I know you guys might jump on me and say, but Villa drew against Manchester City or whatever. But I mean, come on. I don't like mentioning Man City, Liverpool, and Arsenal and all the other teams in the same breath. That's disrespect to Man City and Liverpool. Man City and Liverpool have enough credit in the bank because they've won league titles. Well, Liverpool have won a league title and a Champions League title. Man City have won league titles. Arsenal haven't won anything. Therefore, the criticism that we apply to Arsenal is different to the criticism that will apply to City and Liverpool. We've seen City lose against lesser teams before and still win the league by over 95 points. So, I'm going to reserve judgment on them and on Liverpool because those teams have shown a level of consistency never seen before in the Premier League. But Arsenal haven't shown that. Therefore, we still need to see it. Until we see it, we can't believe it. And that's what I mean, basically. That Arsenal won all of their games against the teams that they should win against if they want to make top 4. And when the first big test came against Man United, a good side that can hurt you in the counter-attack, a good side that can match you in terms of player for player, in terms of quality, they stumbled, basically. They fell, they tripped, and they tripped and fell, and basically they lost the game 3-1. Obviously, first talking point in the game. Well, okay, actually, the fact that Arsenal lost that game is the same reason why I was saying I can't say as of yet Arsenal are going to win the league. I understand Arsenal fans are going to say they're still top of the league or whatever. No one really cares. It's 6 games in, and yeah, come back again after 25 games of 20 games have been played, and if you're still top, then I'll give you respect. But basically, what I'm trying to say is that I can't say Arsenal. I can't put my money on Arsenal on winning the league, simply because I haven't seen it from them. And exactly what I said in terms of I haven't seen from them. Can they go to a big team and win? That's the question I asked of Arsenal. That's what I said is the next hurdle for them. That's what I said is the next challenge for them. They've shown that they can basically go through challenges of going behind in a game. They went behind against Fulham. They came back to win the game. They went behind when they were playing well against Fulham. But they had confidence in themselves that, you know what, we're still playing well in this game, we can still go on and win it. And that's what they did. They played against teams where they played against Leicester, I think. And I think the scoreline was back to 1-1 or 2-1. And they shifted gears and they upped their level of performance and they ended up winning the game 4-2. So we've seen them in terms of a mentality shift from them and playing against the lesser sides and taking full advantage because they have the quality to take full advantage of those sides. But what I said is that, can they do it against the big teams? Can they go to Manchester City at the Etihad and beat them? Can they go to Old Trafford against Man United and beat them? Can they go against Liverpool at Anfield and beat them? Can they go to Stamford Bridge against Chelsea and beat them? And the first test the first test that they had in terms of going to a big team, they failed because they lost against Man United. Whereas each and every one of their fans was saying they're gonna win. I had a good feeling about Man United, and I'll tell you why I had a good feeling. I had a good feeling because of Rashford. Rashford has rediscovered his form in terms of just counter-attacking teams and running in behind defenses. I actually put Rashford in my FPL team for this weekend, and he actually got me more than 15 points. And the reason why I put him in my FPL team was because I knew with the way Arsenal play, they're going to want to dominate the ball and they're going to want to impose themselves on Arsenal. And what that's going to do is that it's going to leave spaces in behind the Arsenal defense for Rashford to exploit with his pace. And that's exactly what happened. I said it in my preview video on Friday. I said, watch out for Man United against Arsenal. Watch out for Man United on the counter-attack. Because Arsenal are going to try and dominate possession. I've seen this movie before. I've seen it time and time again against Man City. When we dominate all of the possession, and because we play high up the pitch, that's how Spurs beat us last season as well. Because we play high up the pitch with our defenders, they run in behind us, and because they have top quality players on offense, they punish us. They get one chance and they score it. Because you have the likes of Harry Kane, Rashford, Son playing against those guys. They're going to punish you and they're going to kill you on the counter-attack. That's exactly what happened to Arsenal. So, I think, in my opinion, I'm not going to be surprised if Man United keep playing the way they play, where when they play against the big sides, they don't mind not having the ball. They just will compete in terms of 50-50s and duels, and they're going to take their chances on the counter-attack. I'm not going to be surprised if Man United beat Man City this season. I've seen it before. I've seen this movie before. Last time I saw it was under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Probably 2 years ago. When I think Man United actually did the double overs, I think. I'm not quite sure. But basically they beat us home and away. And that's because of how they played against us. They played on the counter-attack. You can always punish teams like Liverpool, Man City, Arsenal when you're playing on the counter-attack. Why? Because those teams play with a high line. If you play with a high line, you're always susceptible to being counter-attacked. And if you're playing against a team that has pace, if that team is clinical enough, they will hurt you on the break. And you'll find it difficult to beat them. That's exactly what Arsenal found out against Man United yesterday in that game. Where Arsenal played well in the game. You can't really say they were bad or they were atrocious in the game and they didn't compete. But Man United were ruthless with their chances. Every chance they got, they scored. I thought it was a great performance from Bruno Fernandes as well. And Christian Eriksen. Eriksen was actually the man of the match of the game. So I think it was a great performance from the midfield. And I think actually under Erik ten Hag, Scott McTominay has been transformed. I mean, I think 4 weeks ago, I was one of the people criticizing Scott McTominay and Fred, asking them why on earth are players like Scott McTominay and Fred playing for a club like Man United, where it's a big football club that's won Champions League titles and Premier League titles. Those guys can't even pick a pass. But I think Erik ten Hag has realized something. Scott McTominay looks better when he plays as a holding midfielder on his own than when he plays with Fred. When he's playing with Fred, they're all over the place. They're on top of one another. They don't know how to position themselves properly. They don't know when to make runs forward. They don't know when to shield the defense. They're comical defensively when they play together. But Scott McTominay, since he's been playing on his own on that holding midfield position, it started in the game against Liverpool. He's been brilliant. It would be unfair not to give him praise since he's been playing for United on his own in that holding midfield position. I think he's really played well, to be honest. And I think, Arsenal had a good performance in the game, but they didn't they didn't create enough chances. They didn't create enough clear-cut chances to basically win the game. And I also thought it was an atrocious decision from the referees and VAR to rule out Arsenal's first goal from Martinelli. So what basically happened is that Odegaard fouls Eriksen, right? I'm not disputing that it's a foul. It is a foul. There's no doubt about that. It's a foul. Like you can't you can't deny that it's a foul. But I do have I do have a problem with the referees basically, like, for me, in my opinion, if that's not given as a foul initially, you can't then disallow a goal by saying that, oh, that was a foul there. Because what you're doing then, you re-refereeing the game. If, like, the referee at the time, and he was actually quite close to the situation, he felt at the time that's not a foul. Even though I think it's a foul, and I think it was, like, it would have been harsh on Man United not to give the foul, but the ref didn't give it, so we move on. 10 seconds or 15 seconds later, Arsenal score a goal 60 yards away from that incident. There's a lot of time for Man United to reset and to make tackles to make sure that they don't concede that goal. So to chalk off a goal in that situation where the foul initially was not given, I don't think that's a right. I think if that's given as a foul, fair enough, it's a foul. That's it. We move on. No one is going to complain. But if the ref doesn't give it as a foul in the first place, you can't then disallow a goal 10 seconds later by saying that was a foul. Like, I'm sorry, it's not enough for VAR to intervene in that situation. So I thought it was a poor decision from the referees. And obviously we don't know how the game could have gone should Arsenal, like, if Arsenal were given, should Arsenal have been given that goal. Like, if it was 1-0 to Arsenal, we don't know how the game would have gone. But obviously it wasn't given. United scored through Antony. It was a good goal from Antony. Good positioning on the right hand side. It really looks like a good player. Antony. He's a guy who likes to showboat, basically. Not showboat really, but like, he's a skillful guy. He likes to take people on. He's kind of like, he has that Brazilian flair, almost like when you watch Neymar play, where he wants to get past people, he wants to nutmeg people, he wants to pass like no look passes. And he's kind of that flamboyant player who plays with that swag that you see from Brazilian players and that technical ability. So I think he's a good player and he's going to be a good player for Man United. Good goal from him. And I think I was impressed with him in terms of his attitude, in terms of defensive cover as well. He's not just willing to go forward. He's willing to go backwards as well and do the dirty work and make the tackles and win the ball back for his team. There was quite a few times where he went back and he defended for his team, basically. So I think that's a good attitude, and it all comes from the manager. Obviously, Antony was, like, he basically rose to prominence under Erik ten Hag at Ajax. So he knows, that's why he started that game. He knows all the ins and outs of Ten Hag's tactics and what Ten Hag expects from his players. So I thought it was a good performance from Antony, and a good goal as well. But I think the patterns of play of Man United in terms of offensively, as I've already given praise to Bruno Fernandes and Christian Eriksen, I think they're really good. And I think Christian Eriksen has added a new dimension to the team where he can drop deep into midfield and he can pick the ball up from the centre backs and he can then pick passes. He can thread passes between the lines in the midfield. And Man United can turn defense to attack in an instant, basically. It can take only one pass for United to turn from defense to attack, because they have those creative players like Christian Eriksen and Bruno Fernandes playing as their two number 8s. Christian Eriksen drops deep and gets the ball deep. It's pretty much how Man City also play, in that whenever we play a midfield three of De Bruyne, Bernardo Silva, and Rodri, or De Bruyne, Gundogan, and Rodri, Gundogan or Silva, depending on who is playing, they drop deep and they get the ball from the centre backs and they try and find the ball between the lines to a Kevin De Bruyne or a Phil Foden in order to try and turn defense into attack. So I thought I saw some patterns of play there from Ten Hag. Obviously, Ten Hag did work under Pep Guardiola at Bayern Munich when Pep Guardiola used to coach Bayern Munich. So some of his philosophies and his ideas will come from that, because Pep Guardiola did have an influence in him. And also Johan Cruyff. If you remember, like, Johan Cruyff, even though he's a Barcelona legend, played for Barcelona, he came from Ajax Amsterdam. So before he went to Barcelona, he made his name at Ajax. And Ten Hag is like, he's from the Netherlands. And his ideas also come from Johan Cruyff. Pep Guardiola's ideas also come from Johan Cruyff. In terms of the philosophy of Pep Guardiola and how he coaches his teams, they all come from Johan Cruyff. So I think it's going to be quite an interesting watch, especially when Man United, like when they played under Erik ten Hag for like 2 years. If Pep Guardiola is still at City, God forbid he doesn't leave. But like if Ten Hag comes up against Guardiola like in 2 years' time, where like Ten Hag is gonna have his team and he's gonna have his players and he's gonna have his fingerprints written all over the team. It's gonna be quite fascinating to see those teams come up against each other in terms of the styles of play, and like the very similar styles of play of both managers in terms of how that game would pan out. But I think Man United were efficient in the game. They deserved to win because they created the opportunities to win the game. Arsenal had the majority of the possession, but they didn't deserve to win because they didn't create enough opportunities to win the game. I think some people have a misconception in terms of who deserves to win a game and who doesn't deserve to win a game. Just because you have 70% possession doesn't mean you deserve to win the game, because you can have 70% possession and not create chances. If that's the case, you don't deserve to win. Yes, you dominated possession. Yet you had more you had more passes than the opposition. But if you didn't create the chances to score, then you don't deserve to win. It's as simple as that. And that's what I took from the Arsenal-Man United game. Arsenal didn't create enough clear-cut opportunities to win the game, and therefore they did not deserve to win the game. Man United were ruthless and efficient in front of goal, and therefore they deserved to win the game. And I think it was kind of a poor decision from Mikel Arteta around the 70th minute when he took off Zinchenko and he took off, I forgot who, I think he took off Lokonga as well. And he put on attacking players for defensive players. And he decided to shift to a back three. I think it was too soon to do that from Mikel Arteta. You can't throw your tactics out the window with 20 minutes to go and say you're just going for the win. You do that with 5 minutes remaining. You just throw all the tactics out the window. You put all the attacking players on the pitch. You say, let's go and win the game. But you can't do that if you're only 2-1 down with 20 minutes to go. Especially with the fact that Arsenal were actually playing well in that game. They were creating all the chances before Man United scored their second goal. They were creating all the opportunities and they were knocking on the door of Man United. And then Man United scored against the run of play. So I think Arteta should have waited a little bit more before he decided to kind of go all gung-ho and attack Man United. Yes, you can do that if you are behind by 1 goal with 5 minutes to go, but you can't do that if you're behind with 1 goal with 20 minutes to go. Because then what that did was play right into Man United's hands, because it gave Man United spaces in behind to counter-attack. And they were efficient in the counter-attack and they were ruthless in the counter-attack. And that's why they ended up winning the game. So I think Ten Hag, good start to his Man United career. Very bad start, obviously, when he lost both games against Brighton and Brentford. But from the Liverpool game onwards, he's just gone back to basics. The players are working harder. They're doing all the simple things right. He's changed his back four. He's put on Malacia into the team. He's put on Lisandro Martinez and Varane into the team and Dalot. And I've got to be honest, that actually looks like one of the best back fours in the Premier League in terms of defensive capabilities. Because Dalot looks like a transformed player in terms of defensive cover. He's willing to defend. He's relishing defensive assignments against wingers. Tyrell Malacia is really good at defending. I know Saka took him on a few times last night in the game against Arsenal. But I thought against Mo Salah he was brilliant. He kept Salah in his pocket the whole game. I think Lisandro Martinez and Varane are really playing well as a pairing, and they're a lot better than when Harry Maguire was playing in the team, and they were making errors left, right, and centre. So I think Erik ten Hag has just gone back to basics, and they're grinding out results, which every successful team needs to be able to do. You can't always rely on playing well. You need to be able to grind out results. That's what Man United are doing at the moment, and they're doing it very well. So I think it was a good result for Man United. It was an opportunity missed for Arsenal, because this was their moment to kind of shut down the narrative that they are going to show up for the smaller games, but they're not going to show up for the bigger games. Obviously, there's plenty of games still to go against the bigger teams. In terms of they can still beat the big teams, right? And they can still change the narrative about themselves in terms of, we're not just blackjack bullies. We're not just going to play well against the lesser sides. We can play well against the better sides as well. But it was an opportunity missed for them in the first big test. In the first big test of their season so far, they've basically had a good start in terms of the opponents that they've been playing. They've played teams that you would expect them to win against, and they won. So they lived up to expectation. But as soon as they played a team that was a little bit better in terms of quality, even though they were in good form and they had won 5 games in a row, they lost. So I think it was an opportunity missed for them. And there is still that narrative that lingers about Arsenal, in that, are they going to do it in the big games? Because if you want to win the league, you have to do it in the big games. You can't just show up in the smaller games and not show up in the bigger games. If you show up in all the smaller games, you will make top 4. But if you don't show up in the big games, it's going to be very difficult for you to win the league. And that's what I took from the game. But I think overall it was a great game of football, end-to-end stuff at times. I thought Arsenal controlled the game, but I never felt like they threatened Man United enough in that game, and that's why I don't feel like they deserve to win the game. And I thought Man United actually deserved their win. But yeah, man, I think if you have any comments about the game, guys, about the points that I've made, you can comment in the comment section down below. And also, if you haven't done so, please subscribe to the channel, and please push that notification bell so that you can get notified each time I post a new video. And please push the thumbs up button to like the video as well. Thank you for supporting the channel, and thank you for watching the video. I'll see you in the next video. I'll now do the last video for today, where I'll be previewing the Champions League games, because remember, the Champions League starts tomorrow and on Wednesday. But thank you for watching the video, guys. Please keep on supporting the channel. I really appreciate the support. Enjoy the rest of your day.